Go.
What's up, guys? It's your main man Briman back here finally for another episode of Review Network, and here with me is Steve Carr.
How's it going, everybody? It's been a long time.
It has. It's been so long. I actually can't remember the last time we sat down to record this. I think it was the BAFTAs, wasn't it?
Yes, we talked about the BAFTAs and the winners of the BAFTAs, didn't we? We did.
That was quite good.
We were planning on doing the Oscars, but we couldn't really write comedy out of the Oscars because there was so much comedy already in the Oscars. So.
And it was more or less BAFTAs, but with a wider scope, I feel, to be honest. I think it was all right this year.
Yeah, I didn't agree with all of them, but whatever.
I guess we never will we? Really?
No.
It's always a matter of opinion. That's kind of the beauty of reviews, I guess.
There's obviously a very difference of opinion in that respect. So there's lots of people were questioning why was it Moonlight? The Moonlight one. I think it's probably the best for the Oscars because if La La Land won it, I would kind of be annoyed. Cause
what category was that in?
Best Picture.
Now you see, what about Lion? How did that fare up against the odds? Was that even a contender?
Lion, I can't remember what Lion won because Lion won a few. Lion did win a few things, but I think it was nominated for Best Picture, but it didn't win it.
Yeah, because Dev Patel, like I say, he's my boy. He's my main man.
Yeah, he is definitely.
Now, speaking of pictures, how's your own venture going on? I think the audience would like to know. Considering last time you were on the show, you were talking about your own short film. How's that kind of getting on?
Well, it's edited. It's in the final phase of post-production. Honestly, it's just waiting on the people who are doing the post-production. It's up to them, really. It's not really up to me. I would have said it was in. I said it was going to be in May, June. I highly doubt it'll be any time this month or next. So you're looking sort of summer.
So that sounds quite good because from what I heard of it, it sounded really interesting. Like I've been doing through because obviously I've not uploaded in a while. I've kind of begun to do some comedy skits, but I don't know. I'm just waiting to get in touch with the Kirby Mudkip, to be honest. But yeah, hopefully that gets out all well and good. So best of luck for that.
I just have one thing to say. You know, we can sit here, we criticize movies and all that. Actually, making a movie is about 150 times harder.
Yeah, absolutely. Like food critics, when was the last time they made themselves a sandwich? It's a completely different realm, isn't it? We can sit here on our high horses going, "Oh, you could have done that better," but to be honest, I couldn't even make an apple out of CGI, let alone anything else. To be honest,
CGI is obviously something we talked about quite deeply with our movie project, but we've gone practical on this one.
Well, that sounds quite good because I guess it kind of has a more real feel, but there's no talking in it, is there?
Well, I'm not going to spoil it too much.
Yeah, probably best. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, it's a project that we've been working on for a while, and I am very excited to finally be able to say that it's happening.
And do you feature in it at all? Where are you in this?
Oh,
production?
I don't know what I can say. I sound like a professional movies person. It's just I don't want to say it because it may spoil one part of it.
So I guess cameo, possibly.
Maybe
not.
Maybe not. I couldn't possibly say at this moment.
You should have your main man Briman doing a cameo, just a bit of a cheeky dab in the credits.
A post-credit scene with Briman.
Yeah, just me and the Cubby Mudkip, just in there in some James Bond style scene, use code PED for 10% off, bitch. Or
it'd be like
maybe
it'd be like one of those Archer skits that they have on.
Like some cringy SNL thing done wrong.
Yeah, Mike Myers in the background as well as a stupid SNL.
Looking Life of Pi with Kirby Mudkip.
Oh, that is mean.
Because I'd be like Pi if he ate all the animals, and Kirby would be my boy.
Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be brilliant.
Thank you.
Let's
Come
hope that
again.
let's hope that this one that we've made does well. If it does well, then yes, there will be hopefully a spiritual successor. There won't be a sequel; it'll just be a spiritual successor. And you can get involved.
Spirited Away.
Hey,
I love
don't,
Spirited Away.
hey, don't you knock my Spirited Away? That is one of my
No,
favourite movies.
I love Spirited Away. It's probably one of the first films that I actually cried at. The next was embarrassingly the Pokemon film Rise of Darkrai, but
Oh, I think
I'm not gonna get
everybody
into
shed
that.
a bit of a tear at that movie.
Oh, it was just so sad. I literally finished watching that like 10 minutes ago, and I nearly cried. It was just, I'm just a baby, to be honest.
Well, I mean, I cry at the stupid stuff as well, so don't worry. Okay.
So, so speaking of stuff going forward, what films have you seen within the past
Ooh, I
4 months,
have
5 months?
seen lots and lots and lots of them, and I'm going to first of all start off with a very, very, very quick review of The Girl on the Train, with that featured Emily Blunt in it. It was the movie itself was actually pretty poor in terms of story. It's one of those things that you'll want to watch. You have to watch twice, to understand the story, but you'll probably only end up watching it once because it's not that entertaining.
Are you a more like? Would you prefer a movie to focus on characters or story? Like, which one would you prefer,
Well,
if anything?
Well, if it's in terms of character, I mean, The Girl on the Train has some excellent characters in it, very well written characters, I would say. But the story, that they try to unfold with these characters is just not that interesting, or it is just so convoluted to the point where it's boring.
It depends though, because we'll say with something like Guardians 2, I know you've not seen that, but that's very, very character driven to the point where the story is kind of non-existent.
See, I'm not a sort of, in terms of superhero movies, I'm a little bit more lenient because I liked Suicide Squad because of the characters. I didn't like it because of the film. I like the characters, so I like the movie. It's the question of likable characters. In this one, there's really well written characters. Doesn't mean they're necessarily likable. And I'd on my sort of review scale, I'd give it 4 out of 10.
So, what earns the 4 though? Is there like an arc or something that's quite engaging? Like one saving grace? Is it a
Well, the saving grace is the performances from Emily Blunt. She is excellent at portraying a drunk person, which is quite entertaining.
A drunk person?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to say anything else because it'll spoil it.
Well, I'd say I'm quite good at portraying a drunk person. I'm not sure.
I don't know if
you probably find out if you come Manchester fan.
Oh, yes.
That'd be good, wouldn't it? We'll put details of that in the description. Maybe it'll be like a live stream review network. I don't know.
Maybe we could do a on the Review Network Facebook page. We can do a Facebook Live.
We give this tequila a 7 out of 10.
Watching Drunk Review Network would be quite entertaining.
Oh God! But then there'll be comments like, "When is the Briman ever not drunk?"
Well,
who knows?
When have they ever seen me drunk? Is the question.
Actually, that's quite good. I've never seen you drunk though. I know some of my boys are, but I've never personally. Hopefully, I will though.
Yeah, hopefully.
God, and speaking of alcohol, Logan. What
here we go. Yes, Logan. Logan is possibly one of my favourite movies so far of this year, just in terms of pure character, story, and passion behind the project. I was very disappointed 3 or 4 years ago when The Wolverine came out, which I heard they were going to try and make it true to the comics, when obviously they didn't make it true to the comics because it was a 12A PG-13 rating. This one is proper hard R-rated stuff, 15 and rated, violent, sweary, everything I wanted from the Wolverine character, and it's possibly the best. It's the best film for me about the Wolverine character, and it's a brilliant swan song for Hugh Jackman's last film.
I completely agree, like 100%. Except, like, maybe I'm just being like an old dad or something, but I don't know, the violence, like. I was watching this with my parents, and it made me kind of uncomfortable, the violence. and the
Nasty.
swearing. And the swearing.
Well, it would obviously feels weird seeing a character that has
Especially
been so
Xavier.
tame.
Stuart's Xavier, but in the context of what was happening, it completely made sense. But like, I was there in the Odeon in Blackpool, and literally there was like this 14-year-old kid and the usherette literally ID'd this kid. It was ridiculous. Like, obviously it's necessary, but I don't know. I guess it's kind of alienating. But in terms of the quality of the film, I can hardly find anything to criticize it with. You know, it was excellent.
I mean, I've seen some people who talk about it and said they didn't enjoy it as such. They just saw it as as an experience. Now,
Yeah, definitely.
Now, there are things I disagree with in that statement. One is it is enjoyable. It is very entertaining.
It is.
Keeps
It
you
is,
gripped,
but
which is something lots of things don't do these days. Whereas, if you talk about it in terms of experience, it's just, something you sit there and watch, you won't want to watch again. I think Logan has got a lot of rewatchability.
I don't know if I agree. Like, watchability in what sense? Because what I think of in watchability is, maybe I've got some weird view on it, but say, from my point of view, I obviously acknowledge Logan as a far, far, far superior film to the Wolverine. But if I've got some friends over, we're having a few beers, and they say, "What do you want to watch, Logan or the Wolverine?" I'm putting on the Wolverine. Like, I don't know. Does that make any sense whatsoever? Because there's one which is casual, because you don't want to engage with the Wolverine the way you need to engage with Logan to appreciate it.
I guess you also have to be a certain sort of age demographic to fully appreciate what Logan was trying to do. And if you followed the character as long as I followed the character, I don't agree with quite a lot of what the critics, a few critics were saying. It got a very high response on Rotten Tomatoes, but there were a few people who I watch on YouTube, and they were criticizing it, saying that it was an experience. Now, I completely disagree. But
Yeah,
obviously there's a difference of opinion, but I have to disagree. Logan, on my scale, obviously would get 9 and 9.5 out of 10, just purely because it was possibly one of the most entertaining movies I've seen for a very, very long time.
It's one of those things where it's not trying to be entertaining, but it is so entertaining. Like that scene. I don't want to give away too much, but it's been out for a while. When X-23 first starts talking, like, that's obviously not meant to be a funny scene, but it's just the charisma that both of the people give in that scene is just, it's so natural. It can't help but being charismatic.
Excellent performances from them as always. Excellent direction, I'd say, from James Mangold. Brilliant writing from James Mangold, and it's just it is the best adaptation I think we will see of the Wolverine for a long time, because obviously this is Hugh Jackman's last movie.
It is a bit of a shame, though, isn't it? Because James Mangold directed The Wolverine, so it's just kind of sad to think that we could have got this Logan experience back then, and this could just be an add-on to that.
They needed Deadpool to come out and prove that, R-rated superhero movies can be successful.
But did Kick-Ass not do that ages
Kick-Ass
ago?
wasn't really... Kick-Ass is definitely not in the same sort of realm as Marvel characters, really, I would say. It's definitely not in the Marvel realm.
I get it, but it shouldn't just be, like, say, the MCU Marvel Studios came out straight after Logan saying that there's no plans to do an R-rated MCU film.
Because there's no point.
Which is fine, but there are some characters which need it, isn't there, like?
Well, as I say, there's no point to making a R-rated MCU movie.
I think
each of them alone make over $1 billion US. They don't need it. They get a large audience, get a lot of money, and they get universal praise. Why would they need to make a R-rated?
The thing is that they've not been getting universal praise because Iron Fist, the Netflix show, came out, and that was completely shat on by critics.
Now, I have something to say about Iron Fist. I watched the first sort of 5 episodes. I enjoyed them, but not as much as I enjoyed Daredevil.
Daredevil Season 1 was an absolute masterpiece. Like, the way they got that series so perfect.
I finally just sat down and rewatched Daredevil Season 1. It is possibly one of the best Netflix series around.
Perfect. I cannot believe how well they got it. Like, I've been watching stuff like Arrow, Flash, all that stuff, Agents of Shield, and
I'm not a massive fan of Arrow.
Daredevil season 1 got it spot on. But the thing is that with something like, I don't know, some of them need that more. I don't know, that kind of edginess. But the thing is, Iron Fist got negative reviews. I guess maybe from the SJWs, maybe from the actual logical people. And then now Guardians of the Galaxy 2, everyone's saying it's not as good. Like Jeremy Johns gave it a good time if you're drunk. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is being ripped apart by critics at the moment in a way that's been unprecedented in the past.
Well, I think that's just because of decline. Just because people are very, not everybody wants to see a superhero movie.
I think Logan set a new standard. I think Logan definitely set a new standard. Like, it doesn't need to be superhero fatigue because it can just be a hard, gritty western as opposed to superheroes.
I totally agree. But I'm kind of bored of superhero movies right now. Logan entertained me, and I'll say that is possibly the last superhero movie I've seen which is actually any good.
See, yeah. Well, what is a superhero film to you? Actually, I know that probably sounds like a stupid question, but what is a superhero film?
I'll rephrase that slightly, actually. I really liked, Logan wasn't, to me, a full-on superhero movie. It was a story, of a character, just a character trying to live his life, which kind of evolved into a superhero movie. It was a western, and coincidentally at the same time a superhero film. So it wasn't, strictly speaking, the same genre as, say, your Avengers, your Guardians of the Galaxy, which is just they're all superheroes. There's no kind of story around it. It's all revolving around superhero business. So like Captain America is revolving around the Avengers fighting against themselves. So that's, if you understand where I'm coming from in that respect.
Yeah, it's kind of more like you could imagine yourself in the world of Logan, in the fact that you couldn't imagine yourself in Captain America's conflict with Iron Man.
Exactly.
Like, it is kind of more like there's stakes because of the stuff that happens with Logan within Logan. Like, it seems natural, whereas going into Avengers Infinity War or the next film, they're going to survive because their contract is there. Whereas with Logan, Hugh Jackman's, this is his last one, so you expect there's no end to the stakes that you could have with that.
I agree. Yeah, Logan is so far definitely one of my favourite films of the year.
But what do you think of the ending? Because I kind of feel that for the world's probably one of the most beloved superheroes, the way it ends is kind of, it doesn't really seem...
Well, the X-Men timeline's all screwed up anyway, so it's kind of, not to spoil. I'm not going to spoil anything in here. I'm just saying it makes it, because they're in two different sort of worlds. Some timelines are different to others, and this one is set in a very, very different timeline to the X-Men you're used to. So it kind of makes sense. Even though that's one of the things that critics dislike, is the lack of coherence in the X-Men universe at the moment.
I don't know. It just seems...
I mean, I think that the X-Men universe did really well. They brought back Bryan Singer to do Days of Future Past, and that reinvigorated the franchise for X-Men. Then they made Apocalypse, which was it was all right, but it was kind of rubbish at certain parts. And then it just they didn't make as much money as they wanted to with X-Men Apocalypse, and they needed something to prove that they can still make good, Marvel property films apart from Deadpool, and they can. They've proved it with Logan. Now it's sad to know that Hugh Jackman will not be returning to Logan, and that's not good for me because I can't picture anyone else as Logan.
Yeah, to be honest, me neither. Like, the thing is though, is that people absolutely loved X-23 and Logan, except timeline-wise, I know X-Men's not big with timeline continuity, but the best replacement for Hugh Jackman's Wolverine is X-23, and due to timelines, that's probably not going to happen, is it?
Probably not.
So
But
they've kind of they've kind of shot themselves in the foot, then, haven't they?
well, there are things that can happen. The question I actually am interested to ask you is if you had to, who would you replace? Who would be the ideal Hugh Jackman replacement?
I don't think there could possibly, at this point, be one that people would accept. But I don't know. I guess they originally wanted someone like a Tom Cruise type figure, but I think that it's just not the right time, to be honest.
I wouldn't say Tom Cruise would be anywhere near.
No, not him.
Get him away from
but...
that. Get him away from that, because I like Tom Cruise in some of his films, but
yeah.
as a cinematic universe thing, nah, go away. I don't want you for that. That's rubbish.
Like I guess an all-rounder, someone that's been experiencing all types of theatre, acting.
One of my friends stated Daniel Craig when he finishes being James Bond, because he could fit the old man Logan style, and I just said nah.
Yeah, that wouldn't work. That would so be off. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, it's very hard to pick one, so we'll just leave that there, and I totally agree with the fact that it's just impossible to cast him at the minute.
Mm. If anything, they should just do X-23, and I don't know how they're going to do it. Apparently, and I read an article that in New Mutants, McAvoy's not going to return as Charles Xavier.
No, I heard that too, yeah.
So, what is even going to happen at this point? There's going to be no sense of anything, is there, really?
I think it's because McAvoy went away and did Split, and he's going to be in the sequel to Split.
I mean, I guess McAvoy, they kind of want to do the timeline a bit more accurately, because you can't get from McAvoy to Stewart in 10 years.
No, agreed.
But, I don't know, it just seems kind of odd that they'd make such a leap, and then there's no continuity, so who exactly are we meant to be rooting for? Either in the next X-Men film, we're rooting for people that we know are just going to get killed by, spoilers, Xavier seizures, or to just not stay around long enough for us to get attached to. Like, what would be the point now?
In terms of timeline, what you just said there with the seizures, in the current X-Men universe, that won't happen.
But would that not decrease the weight of what Logan did?
Well, one of the studio heads actually said that Logan takes place in an alternate timeline. So it won't happen.
I mean, I respect that, but at the same time, I kind of want it to be in the timeline because it's powerful, it's good material. But then, I don't know.
Well, then again, I think it's because they just want to please fanboys who don't want to, get confused with the timelines.
No, it's money, isn't it? Because they know that no one's going to watch the next X-Men film set in the 90s, knowing that the Charles Xavier that they see is going to end up crapping his pants bald, and he's going to end up getting killed. Like no one, what would be the point if you know that your hero is going to end up dying in that undignified manner anyway?
Yes, agreed. Okay, so next movie you want to talk about? I know you want to do a quick review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Yeah. So, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, basic synopsis in terms of story is that there kind of isn't a story, but basically you've got the Guardians, they're kind of getting off the coattails of what they've done in the past. They've organised a kind of galaxy-saving mission. So they've hired themselves out as kind of heroes for hire, if you will. Hang on. Okay, good. I thought I was going to burp then, but oh well. This isn't a Kirby Mudkip drama cast. I'll keep that to myself. See, every time I was... most sincerest of apologies.
I'm gonna have to put it down in the description. Warning: contains burp.
It contains curry-smelling burp. But anyway, basically, the Guardians are hired by this group of perfect gold people who they kind of take off at the start of the film, and then the whole story goes from there. They find some place to retreat, and basically Star-Lord gets reunited with someone from the past, and it all goes from there. It's all character driven. So I can't really go into plot details because there is no plot. There's just character development. But basically, in terms of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, it does everything, it hits all the same fun beats that the first one does, except it adds a bit more emotion to it. And I think it does it quite well. I personally recommend Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, especially if you love the first one.
Excellent.
Definitely. It's just as good, if not better, in terms of character. I do recommend it.
That was a very good quick review there, Mr. Briman. I will endeavour to go and see that movie at some point soon. I'm going to talk about Lego Batman now. Taking you back a little bit to February. The Lego Batman movie is actually the best DC movie I've seen since The Dark Knight, and it's for kids. It's wit, it's humour, it's voice cast, it's
kids.
Just strange story and just pure entertainment factor. It is just hilarious. It's just hilarious to watch. It's great fun. If you want to introduce your kids to the world of DC with a light-hearted approach, this is where you take your kids to. And also, if you want to see a good DC movie, you go and watch that. It is not on my top scale of rating. It is sort of mid-tier at 6 or a 7, but it's recommended.
So probably about a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, 6.5, I'd say.
But is it in the same universe as the Lego movie?
Kind of.
Everything is awesome.
If you enjoyed the Lego movie, you'll love the Lego Batman movie. It's just as entertaining as it, which is hard to say about most films these days.
Most films are based on just spectacle and stupid humor that would appeal to kids, just like explosion, people screaming, yeah, that's funny.
So, yeah, it's a very good movie. It's very much recommended. It's coming out on Blu-ray soon, so pick it up in your stores. Kong Skull Island's the next thing. Now, I didn't like King Kong Skull Island at all. I thought the script was a joke. There was so many lines of dialogue that obviously had been taken out of a drunk man's dream. Very poorly paced, is what I'd say.
Hey, what are you saying about drunk people, eh?
I say anything. I'm just saying that the script is about as incoherent as a drunk person's dream.
Yeah, I watched some online footage and some maybe or maybe not illegal footage. It seemed, to be honest, I enjoyed it better than Godzilla in the fact that when I was watching Godzilla the first time, it was in a really bad screen. I couldn't hear anything except for the growls. So I guess I kind of enjoyed that. And Tom Hiddleston, I'm obviously a fan of him, but I think they're making a good progress in expanding the monster universe, if that's a fair comment.
Well, it's a fair comment. Everyone has their own views. I didn't think it was very good. It definitely wasn't. It definitely wasn't Godzilla. Godzilla had such bland characters. It was just boring to watch. This one has bland characters, but at least you see King Kong more than you actually see Godzilla in Godzilla. But that's all I can say. It's going for it. The action scenes are a little bit, how do I put it, edited, where there's like 100 cuts a second in the action scenes, which it winds me up that because it just shows that they're trying to edit it down to, PG-13, and they're not trying to show any physicality. So there's no actual blows, no blows to the face. With, even human versus human, there's no actual sort of state, sort of pain. You can't actually feel what's happening. Whereas you've got movies like The Dark Knight where there are scenes where you actually feel the blows that happen.
But it's never like too brutal a blow. Like I don't know. You never see. I'm not saying that human life is based upon age, but you never see like Kong blowing kids, do you? Like
no, but
it's not too.
It's because they're on Skull Island, but yeah, I'm not going to recommend Kong Skull Island. I'm not going to recommend it. My rating would be 3. It's the only redeeming feature is it's beautifully shot, and That's probably all I can say. Visuals are beautiful, and that's it. There's no substance.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think that's kind of what most films are going for nowadays, though. Unfortunately, just
Well,
good shots. No one's interested in story, really, are they?
this is the last one I'll talk about before we get on to Alien Covenant, is The Fate of the Furious. I like The Fate and the Furious a lot. I think it's continuing the story while setting up a completely new set of stories that could happen in the universe. And it's just as dumb, just as stupid, but at the same time, all around just great fun. And
Is this the first film after Paul Walker, or am I
yes,
just
it's the first film
completely
after Paul
ridiculous?
Walker. It is very well done. It is very entertaining. I would say if you want dumb action, go watch this. I mean, some people say if you want to watch dumb action, you go watch Transformers, but as a Transformers isn't really for anybody. It's just for people who like seeing bits of metal whacking.
Brain Deads.
Basically, it's people who. I wouldn't say brain dead. I'd say it's probably for like
Brain Deads.
9-year-old kids.
Brain Deads.
Even then, I'd say it's definitely not 9-year-old kids because
So just infants, essentially.
yeah, it's infantile. It's very infantile. But yeah, The Fate of the Furious isn't infantile in the slightest. It's just dumb fun with cars. That's pretty much all I can say about it. It definitely gets a.
But fun though, I guess.
Oh yeah, it's very
fun with cars. Sounds fun.
It's very fun, and I would give this one probably a 8. I know that's just that could also be because I'm a massive fan of the series as well. So it's not just because I like the movie itself. It's probably because I like the whole story arc they've created with these characters and continued it in such a way that I found very entertaining.
Now, is there going to be another one?
Oh yeah, there'll be another one in a couple of years. They keep saying they're going to finish it, but they're not. They'll keep going.
Now, I don't really go to the cinema quite a lot, but what I did see, there's a lot of stuff going on at the moment. There's Spider-Man Homecoming. What do you make of that? What do you think that will be like? Like, in comparison to the other somewhat, debatable atrocities within the past.
When we talk about debatable atrocities, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was a debatable atrocity to me. It was a bad film, but it wasn't as bad as Spider-Man 3, but it was pretty bad. Spider-Man 3 let me down on so many reasons. But what do I think? I think it's too soon. Personally, I think it's way too soon to reboot the series. The thing is, the difference between Spider-Man and The Amazing Spider-Man was about 6 years difference between them, so it gave you time to sort of forget and then
The thing is,
move
though,
on. Whereas this one, you haven't had time to move on. You've had 2 years at most.
The Amazing Spider-Man was an amazing chance to move on from the original series because it was so different. Except the thing is, what I thought is that they said, oh, look, we got too much criticism for trying to copy The Dark Knight in the first one. Let's make it completely like the original series, which was, in my opinion, the doom of that franchise. Is that they didn't stick to what they thought was their vision.
It was doomed. Amazing Spider-Man 2. What do I think about Spider-Man Homecoming? I've seen the trailer. I think... again, I'm not going to judge it from its trailer because there are a lot of MCU movies, DCEU movies that are have excellent trailers, but the movies are very poor. I mean,
Suicide Squad.
Prime example, Suicide Squad. It looked like a completely different movie in the trailers than what we got. It looked like a really dark movie in the first trailer. Then it went so sarcastic, and it was a bit meh. But
now, I kind of want to talk about the throwback series because it has been a while. I know that we kind of said it kind of might be too outdated, but for the sake of audience stuff, what do you make of the David Brent movie? Because we're an English podcast, I guess it can't hurt mentioning some more English entertainment, as it were.
The David Brent movie is very funny. I mean, it kind of depends on if you like Ricky Gervais's sort of sarcastic humour or not. If you don't like that, you will hate the movie. Otherwise, you'll find it very funny. I think there's no real story to it, but the jokes do hit home all the time. It is entertaining. But I'd say it's one of those Marmite movies. You either really do or you really don't.
I kind of agree though, but I
It's a great
think
movie.
the story that it told. Now I'm quite invested in this, and not just like the movie itself. I thought that was a very fine movie. It was quite good. It was quite funny, but is the story that it told not the same that the Christmas special finale told?
Maybe.
You know, he goes on this adventure about entertainment, realizes it's
Okay.
not totally for him,
Okay. This
and
probably.
then the other supporting characters make him feel good. Then he ends up with someone.
All I'm gonna say is let's not talk about that because it'll probably spoil it for people who haven't seen it. Um, but yeah, I actually do agree with you on that one. Very much so, in fact.
Like it was done perfectly
It's lazy
well,
writing.
except
Lazy
the
writing.
story was told
Well, it's lazy
like
writing.
10 years ago.
It's kind of lazy writing in my view, then. But I still enjoyed the movie. I quite liked it. What else? I don't think I talked about Rogue One, the Star Wars movie that came out Christmas.
Yeah, if you want to give like a quick review
I'll
on
just
that,
quickly tell you that the first time I watched it, thought it was excellent, thought it was better than The Force Awakens. The second time I watched it, I was kind of over it, and I kind of thought, nah, it's not really that amazing. Then I've watched it again since and thought, you know what, actually, it's okay. It's better than all the prequels. Doesn't matter what anyone else says, but it is still better than prequels. But I'm not sure we really needed it. As a Star Wars fan, I don't really think we needed it. But having said that, it is still an excellent movie. The Darth Vader scenes are excellent as usual. But then again, the question is, did we really need it? That's the question. I wouldn't give it a rating because it's a very hard one to actually give a rating. Because in one mind, I'm thinking of, in terms of criticism, I'd probably give it an 8. But in terms of Star Wars fan, I would probably give it a little bit less. So I can't really say. But
well, in all fairness, though, do we need any movies to begin with?
well, that's a good question. Subjective. That's a subjective one. That one. So, have you got any movies you want to talk about, Mr. Briman?
Not really sure. I just wanted to hear more about another thing that you've heard. Then I'll get on to my proper section.
Go for it.
Are you sure you don't want to talk about anything else? Like, how about the expansion of the monster universe as it
Not interested.
has presented itself?
I'm not particularly interested in that. Really, it doesn't excite me. With what I've seen so far, I'm not really excited. So I wanted to say, just as a word of caution, Beauty and the Beast is not a good movie, because if you are like me and you hold the animations close to you, you'll not like it. If you've not seen the animations, you'll probably like it. But I'm just one of those people who really like the cartoons. So,
oh God, is this the Jungle Book all over again? Am I gonna see this film and love it or something?
Maybe not. I'm not sure. It depends. But even a lot of people who were going into it with a very open mind said it wasn't very good. So, yeah, I don't think it's very good. So, my main discussion now is going to be.
God, what is it with you and nostalgia? Like, are you just like some, like, what is it?
I just like.
I feel like we're about to break into song. No one reviews like Steve Carr. No one critiques like Steve Carr. No one shits on films that are remade like Steve Carr. No one says that things suck because they're not the original, like Mr. Stephen Carr.
There's no such thing as remakes. I'm all for remakes if they have got something to add.
Fucking Ghostbusters.
I'm all for remakes as long as they've got something new to add. I
can't on principle review defend Beauty and the Beast just because I've not seen it yet. But
I can. In fact, I'm actually going to say this now. I watched Ghostbusters again recently, the 2016 remake, and the more I've watched it, the more I thought, hang on a minute, there isn't really much chemistry to it. It was kind of, it was just a load of people blended together. I didn't think it was a very good movie in the end. Actually,
it's like new baited versus old baited.
On reflection, I'm not a massive fan of it as there was. There
were some good moments. There's some good moments.
There are one or two scenes that I liked, but the rest of it's just a bit But yeah, on reflection, I don't like it as much as I used to. So, I want to talk to you, to ask you a quick question. Did you see the movie Prometheus?
Unfortunately not.
Okay. Have you seen Alien?
No, I'm rubbish.
Oh. I was going to say, if you'd seen Prometheus, then you'll know the movie I'm talking about next is Alien Covenant, which is a follow-on to Prometheus. Alien Covenant is... it follows on just after Prometheus. Michael Fassbender is playing a different character than he was in the first one, even though it's kind of the same. A new crew of a ship called the Covenant go to a mysterious planet, and they find things that could be think it could be habitable, but they discover things along the way which make it a little bit harder to say it's habitable. So the problem I had with the movie Prometheus was that it was good, but it wasn't everything that it was cracked up to be. I think visually it was beautiful, but story-wise it was a bit all over the place. It was trying too hard to be not a prequel to Alien, but coincidentally being a prequel to Alien. Alien Covenant is trying to bridge the gap even further by doing almost the same thing, but slightly bloodier. There are some excellent tense sequences in Alien Covenant. There are some excellent acting. Billy Crudup is probably a standout. Catherine Watson is good as a standout as well. Michael Fassbender is good, but not as pivotal as he was in the first one. But my problem is the script, its tone, and its overall sort of the first two acts are very dull to watch. They are very much like Prometheus's archaeological sort of digging crap that I skipped over in Prometheus because it was boring. And I sat watching this thinking this is just dull to watch. And then in the final third, which is about the last sort of 40 minutes, I thought, oh my god, this is excellent. This is amazing. It's almost as entertaining as the start of the battle in Aliens, but that's not to say it's better than Aliens in the action terms. It's actually nowhere near as good as Aliens in terms of action, but it is, it gave me the excitement.
So the third act was the best?
Third act is the best. It kept me on the edge of my seat for 40 minutes out of the 2 hours and whatever runtime. But the rest of it's all shambolic, I think. They're finally starting to bridge the gap between, to explain a bit more about where the aliens came from. But then again, there's going to be another sequel to Alien Covenant, which will be even more like Prometheus. Which I as much as I'd want to say, this movie is more than just a mixed bag. It is really boring for the first hour and 20, and then after that 40 minutes, it's exciting and mind-blowingly fun. But 40 minutes out of a 2 hour sequence means it's probably not going to get anything higher than a 4 out of 10 in mine, because it's 60%
God,
bad.
that's so harsh.
60%.
I mean, I've not seen it, obviously, but wow.
Well, it's mainly just me saying that it's just because I like, for all Prometheus's flaws, it was actually not a bad film. There was the first. I'd say this one's got more of a sort of first hour and 20 minutes of archaeological stuff, whereas the other one, it kind of split it up into many sections. So you'll be a few minutes archy, and then second, a bit more. Then there'll be action, then there'll be archy, then action, then action, then action, then archy, then actual. Whereas this one's just got archy for an hour and 20 minutes, and then it's just got action. And so it doesn't really form an entertaining story. It doesn't keep you completely gripped all the way through.
See, that's true, because with movies, they have to kind of be engaging, especially when you're taking the time to see it in theatres, whereas with me, I hardly see anything in theatres, to be honest, so I don't really know.
Well, I'm not going to deter people who really enjoy the Alien Prometheus thing. If that's your thing, I can't say there's things in it I didn't enjoy. I did enjoy the last 40 minutes, but other than that, I was a bit bored. But I would give it a 4 out of 10. But I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to people who haven't seen the Alien movies. If you've seen the Alien movies, then yes, I would probably say go and watch it. But I wouldn't give it a glowing recommendation.
No, that's understandable. It's all opinion at the end of the day.
Well, it's all opinion based, and that's kind of what this show's about. It's an opinion show, and well, that's it for the Alien Covenant for me.
And I guess before we wrap up all this movie stuff, I kind of want to touch upon the future of the drama cast and stuff like that. Now, it's been so confusing for the audience because I've got a load of like stuff like that, because there's been like an episode released that said that you quit, and then Kirby quit, then you decided that you wanted to come back to drama cast, then posted a comment down that you were coming back, then you quit, and then Kirby quit again. It's been insane. Do you want to clear all that stuff up for the audience sake?
Well, I first left DramaCast to go and pursue other things. Then my things started to wrap up and started to go into a different sort of part of the project. And Kirby, I can't remember exactly what happened, but you say Kirby wanted a break or he was leaving.
Yeah.
And then I said, okay, until I will come back as, I'll come back as host if you need me. And you said yes, so I did come back as host temporarily. And then Kirby said he'll come back. I didn't actually quit. I just didn't really involve myself with it for a little while because I wasn't too interested in the drama side, just for that time. But over the last few months, I'm looking at it and thinking, yeah, there's a lot we can talk about. But unfortunately, Kirby obviously is the editor. Edits quite a lot of the stuff. He does an amazing job editing, which is brilliant. Because I always thought the beauty of Review Network was it was a one-take wonder, instead of being, edited.
Because it is real, isn't it? If it's one take. Now I understand Kirby's point of view 100%. In fact, I applaud it to no extent because he does do all the stuff, where the Review Network logo jumps into the frame and the topics change. But the one thing that I quite like to pride ourselves upon is that I don't know, it's just that sense of reality, if that makes sense. Well, I do appreciate Kirby's professionalism.
Absolutely, I'll never diss him. I think he's professional. He's very professional. I wish him well.
I think he's done more for us than at this point than we've done for him. Kind of, And I don't want to suck my own dick here, but the fact that I pointed him out as a contender, the main contender, is flattering from my point of view. But
I think the thing about me, Review Network, I always used to have this sort of thing where I thought, it's great. I love doing Review Network because it's kind of raw. Everything we say is unedited. It's just completely unfiltered. Everything we say is in it. I don't take any of it out. I don't move it around. I don't stitch it into places. I always felt that was a bit more what it was about, because editing can sometimes give the wrong impression about certain things we're talking about, which is why I say I enjoy being unedited.
However, though, to the audience, we've got some good, exciting news to do with DramaCast. Not really, internet drama, because I kind of found that the last episode of DramaCast was the best episode. Steve, I'm not sure if you've had any chance to listen to that so far yet.
I haven't as of yet. It is on my watch list.
It is the best episode so far, but because it's not really internet drama, it's own personal stuff. So, to the audience, some exciting news. On the 19th of this month, me and Steve and I are going to be going out for a night out in the town, Manchester, stuff like that, and hopefully that would be a good topic to talk about in DramaCast. Not to say that there's going to be drama, but just for general banter's sake. To get out of this formality. This level of formality.
Yes, very much so. It'll be very, very informal. But I would also like to sort of ask you, Briman, do you want to continue doing DramaCast on the Review Network channel?
Yeah, I'd love to. I even hit Curry Muskip up tonight to see if we can get the old trio together, but he's not available. I think he's just too busy. I don't know. I'd love to though, yeah.
Well, I'm interested to know, because I will say, if you want to, we can restart DramaCast next week sometime and continue on with DramaCast, and then we'll make this movie show once every month or so. But we'll do a DramaCast every 2 weeks.
So that would be quite good.
So every 2 weeks we put out a new bit of content.
We could even YouTube Live as well, or
Yeah,
Facebook
excellent.
Live.
That's excellent. That was, that was sort of my plan in that respect.
So yeah, if you want to check out our night out in Manchester, I guess check in the description below. I'll try and find some links to Facebooks and stuff like that. It will hopefully be good.
I'm
I
gonna.
think it will be.
What we'll do is we'll get a Facebook Live going, but we'll also we'll vlog bits of it. When we're out and about, we will vlog it as well as do a live stream.
Yeah, and hopefully that will be included within the next episode of the Drama Cast.
Yes, and
Edited in.
well, yes, it'll be edited in. Or what we'll do is we'll make it as an extra on the channel.
I think I'll take the role of host for that. I think.
Okay. Yes. So there are a few things coming up on Review Network. Anything coming up on your channel soon? Anytime soon?
So I've kind of got like a series of comedy series going on. I did this one video. I've done a couple of videos, but I kind of just want to be more, I don't know, kind of different. So I've got this one skit coming out. I've got a planned cameo for the Kirby Mudkip. I'm not really sure what's going to happen at the moment. But yeah, there's stuff definitely going to come out within my channel in the next few weeks. Steve, you?
Well, it's more I need to find a subject I can bitch about, really, because that's what I do on my Gear Grinder channel, and then I do my personal channel is just sort of explaining the reasoning behind it, and explaining how I made it.
Prequels, sequels. That's the way to go.
See, I'm not angry about that really, because there's no point in getting angry about it anymore. But
prequels. Prequels piss me off.
Well, you never know. It might be featured eventually at some point.
I know, but all a prequel is how are we going to get from this stage to where we were in the film that you've already seen?
Yeah, I understand the reasoning.
So it's just kind of frustrating. Like, say if there's a film about me drinking a glass of cider, the prequel will be how the cider was manufactured, or how the fucking
who bought you it?
Yeah. Or how the shopkeeper got that job. Like, what? We know that I'm gonna drink the cider, so why do we need to see all these stages?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Well, there will sooner or later something will pop up. It won't be. Hopefully, I intend to make one for next week. So, hopefully, there'll be something out next week on my channels.
Except knowing Kirby, that'll probably be out in about 8 years.
No, I'll be out. Mine will be out next week. Because all mine are all one-take wonders, so it'll be literally one take. So, yeah. Well, that's
it'll be definitely good. Definitely good to get out before Manchester.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know. It's not like a prerequisite, but if it can be done, then I guess it should be.
Well, we'll talk about that a little bit after.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, that would do us for this episode of Drama Casts, or what the I'm an idiot, of Review Network's Movie Cast. I've been the host, Briman, and with me, as always, is Steve Carr. We'll see you next time. Make sure to share this video with the gardener, your creepy Uncle Trevor, and the black man that fucks your mother.
Check it out. See you next time.
Subscribe to Kirby Mudkip.
See you later.